And of course, we have Sarah Huckabee Sanders. We are graced with Sarah's presence tonight. I have to say, I'm a little starstruck. I love you as Aunt Lydia on The Handmaid's Tale.
I'm sorry, Aunt Lydia.
Strength and honor.
Strength and honor.
Strength and honor. At my signal, unleash hell.
Margaret Atwood is a Canadian author known for writing a book called The Handmaid's Tale. In this dystopian novel, which is set in the near future of New England in a totalitarian Christian theonomy that has overthrown the United States government, handmaids are forbidden to use their birth name and must echo the male or master whom they serve. The novel focuses on the journey of a handmaid named Offred. Her name derives from the possessive form of Fred. The Handmaid's Tale explores themes of women in subjugation to misogyny in a particular society and the various means by which these women attempt to gain individualism and independence. Hulu has produced a 10-episode series of the novel starring Elizabeth Moss as Offred. The first 3 episodes were released on April 26 of 2017, with subsequent episodes following on a weekly basis. Margaret Atwood served as consulting producer. The show won 8 Emmys in 2017, including Best Outstanding Drama Series, Outstanding Lead Actress in a Drama Series, Outstanding Writing for a Drama Series, Outstanding Supporting Actress in a Drama Series, and Outstanding Directing for a Drama Series. The show was renewed for a second season, which premiered on April 25th of 2018, and in May 2018, Hulu announced renewal for a 3rd season. This show, The Handmaid's Tale, is extremely popular, but if you've seen this show or read the novel, have you noticed how the story pushes a New World Order agenda? Have you noticed that this may be exactly where America and the rest of the free world is headed? My name is Devin with UPTV, and I'm here with Amber Nicole today. Follow us as we break down the true hidden meaning and conspiracies behind the new Hulu show, The Handmaid's Tale.
But only in suffering will we find grace.
Please, please don't. No.
The Handmaid's Tale is a spin-off of Things to Come. If we continue as things already are here in America, we turn our cheeks as laws that once put a band-aid on social issues have had a ripple effect on our prison populations. Now you can end up in jail simply for not being able to pay fines or debt. The modern-day extortion has left crimes with victims as a lower priority. In victimless crimes, everyday people become the victims of our system. The programming is being placed upon us to accept whatever reality we are given. So when does it become time to say it's not okay? We are already normalizing passive behavior. The day that martial law becomes a reality, what will you do?
Madam President, today I wanted to come down to the floor to speak very briefly about a resolution that the majority leader introduced, I believe, earlier today. This is an authorization for military force resolution that apparently purports to give the president legal authority to conduct military operations against ISIS. Before we break for the weekend, Madam President, I thought it was important to come to the floor to explain why, very briefly, to my colleagues, to explain what this resolution really is. This resolution is a total rewrite of the War Powers Clause of the United States Constitution. Let's be clear about that. It is essentially a declaration of international martial law, a sweeping transfer of military power to the president that will allow him or her to send U.S. troops almost anywhere in the world for almost any reason with absolutely no limitation.
The Republic of Gilead, sometimes referred to simply as Gilead, is the authoritarian theocratic regime that takes over the United States of America in The Handmaid's Tale. The regime can be seen as the overall main antagonist of the novel and the television adaptation. The origin of the Republic of Gilead is not entirely clear, mostly because all information on it comes from the accounts of Alfred, who has limited knowledge or can be seen as an unreliable narrator. It would seem that Gilead originally began as various religious extremist groups that believed that America needed to be saved from sin and corruption. According to the conference transcript at the end of the novel, these coalesced into a single conspiracy which referred to itself as the Sons of Jacob. Eventually, the Sons of Jacob devised and executed an elaborate coup d'etat against the United States government. Through a series of coordinated attacks, they assassinated the U.S. president and members of Congress, as well as staff from the White House and all 9 justices of the Supreme Court. Blaming the attacks on Islamic fanatics, the army declared a state of emergency. In quick succession, the United States Constitution was suspended, online bank accounts were frozen, and all employed women were fired from their jobs. Alfred recalls that the entire coup happened so fast that the widespread emotion among the general population was bewilderment. As the Son of Jacob's own troops systematically cleared women out of places of employment. There were a few protest marches at first, but the new Sons of Jacob's government immediately responded with blunt, naked aggression, deploying its own soldiers, the guardians of the faithful, to mercilessly slaughter the unarmed protesters rather than disperse them. After the first protests were quashed with such sheer brutality, the population was too terrified to mount any further reaction. However, the Sons of Jacob's actions against unarmed protesters would fan the flames of armed resistance with various rebel groups and citizen militia units across the country that all started to take up arms against the Sons of Jacob's regime. The new government quickly began hunting down anyone they perceived as being ungodly or a threat. This included political activists, doctors, members of other religious groups, and gender minorities, and intellectuals. The Republic of Gilead was declared as the successor state to the United States of America. However, at least some American civilian and military officials survived the coup d'etat and fled to Alaska, where they declared the new U.S. capital in Anchorage, resulting in a second American Civil War. So, in The Handmaid's Tale, martial law is already a reality. Handmaids are beaten and killed by the police. They even have concentration camps that they call the colonies. The women must dig up the top layer of the contaminated soil so that Gilead can later reuse the land to grow food. They see it as a very inexpensive way to basically reclaim the earth. You don't use machinery, you use humans who are considered useless to society, and you make them work until they die. When Margaret Atwood wrote The Handmaid's Tale, she included elements, themes, events, and ideals that could very much so happen in our lifetime. In fact, if you've been following the news for the past few years, you know that martial law has been threatened several times. Even conspiracies hinting towards martial law coming have plagued the internet.
The only way they can pass this bill is by creating and sustaining a panic atmosphere. That atmosphere is not justified. Many of us were told in private conversations that if we voted against this bill on Monday, that the sky would fall, the market would drop 2,000 or 3,000 points the first day, another couple thousand the second day, and a few members were even told that there would be martial law in America if we voted no. That's what I call fear-mongering. Unjustified. Proven wrong. We've got a week, we've got 2 weeks to write a good bill. The only way to pass a bad bill, keep the panic pressure on.
Well, let's begin this afternoon with something U.S. lawmakers are cooking up as we speak. It's a bill in the U.S. Senate called the National Defense Authorization Act and may be voted on as soon as tomorrow. But with most bills, it is chocked full of flowery language about protecting the homeland and giving the military the tools they need to do their job. But the bill also does something unprecedented. It gives the president, this one and the next ones, the authority to indefinitely imprison people without charge or trial, both in other countries and here in the United States. But don't take my word for it. Take a look at this. Here is text of the Senate bill. 1867, Congress affirms that the authority of the president to use all necessary and appropriate force pursuant to the authorization for use of military force includes the authority of the armed forces of the United States to detain covered persons pending disposition under the law of war. All right, not exactly simple language here. So why don't I play something for you from one of the bill's backers, Senator Lindsey Graham from South Carolina. This is what he said on the Senate floor a few weeks ago.
1032, the military custody provision, which has waivers and a lot of flexibility, doesn't apply to American citizens. 1031, the statement of authority to detain, does apply to American citizens, and it designates the world as the battlefield, including the homeland.
The battlefield, says Senator Graham, is right here in your front yard and mine. And he says American citizens, if they are suspects, well, that they should be able to be detained and held without charge. Why? Well, in the name of information gathering, it seems.
We're simply saying that you have the option to make sure that you can put intelligence gathering as the top priority.
Now, this isn't just Republicans. The bill's sponsors are Republican Senator John McCain and Democratic Senator Carl Levin, who brings up a situation in which a member of al-Qaeda gets onto U.S. soil and attacks a military base. Senator Levin wants to make sure that that person is able to be detained by the military in that situation. That's the reason. Now, I should mention President Obama has threatened to veto the bill if the indefinite detention without charge or trial provisions are not removed. But an amendment by Senators Mark Udall and Jim Webb to strip those provisions from the bill just failed on the Senate floor moments ago. So what is going on here? Where's all that talk about sticking to the Constitution?
For some people, it's not a matter of whether or not martial law can happen, but a matter of when it will happen. According to some theorists, FEMA camps are indeed concentration camps. It's even rumored that Walmarts have been strategically placed all over the US so that when martial law does happen, these stores can be used as concentration camps as well. People even point to the fact that if you rearrange or reverse the name Walmart, that it actually stands for martial law. But this is just the tip of the iceberg. The scariest part about these martial law theories is the thousands, if not millions, of black boxes or caskets that people have discovered all over the US. These caskets are so large that they can fit 4 or 5 human bodies in one.
What in the hell is this? Coffin. It's hundreds of thousands of coffins. And if they have to get rid of people or dissidents, they got the caskets for it, don't they? Yes, sir. We found stockpiles all over the country.
I, for 16 years or more, have been pointing out that there is an open plan to start using the U.S. military on the streets of America. And in the MIAC and Homeland Security reports that law enforcement gave me over 3 years ago, it states none of this has to do with al-Qaeda. It's all about returning vets, gun owners, libertarians, conservatives, anti-war activists who are listed as terrorists in these databases. So that's in the news today. So the bill itself is incredibly egregious, but it just expands upon the Military Commissions Act and other things where they now kill U.S. citizens abroad and say they'll kill them domestically. So they're setting that precedent, always claiming, well, it's for al-Qaeda because they're so scary. But when you get into the meat and potatoes, they want to use this against the American people. And just a few years ago, they'd say it's preposterous. We don't want to use the Army and Marines against the American people. Why, that's tyranny. That's a third world country. That's martial law.
While some people believe martial law is upon us, others are not entirely convinced.
Hey, quick question to all the conservatives out there. Where the FEMA camps at? Obama's out of office. I just wanted to ask you guys, because I was reading about the detention centers today. that Trump's going to set up. I thought that's what you guys were worried about with Obama. Where the FEMA camps at? Where are they at? How about Jade Helm 115 or whatever the hell that was? Where's that? How about the black helicopters? Where are they? Are they up there? I don't see any black helicopters. How about the Hobbit homes?
Martial law is such a hefty topic that we could spend hours exposing the truth about it. The Handmaid's Tale gives us just a glimpse of what martial law would be like if it ever became a reality for us. But does the show give us even more clues? Check out this clip by YouTuber In Plain Sight. In his video, The Handmaid's Tale, The Fall of America, Martial Law, and the Rise of the Zionist New World Order is coming soon, he breaks down the hidden symbolisms found in the trailer of this show, The Handmaid's Tale.
We are being shown a lot of different themes here: martial law, New World Order, women's rights being stripped away from them. In fact, I'm sure much of humanity's rights is being stripped away as well. I believe they're not even telling you the half of it here on IMDb. And let's just take a look right now at some of the screenshots from this trailer. I found it quite interesting that it starts off right away with the main character who is right here, Offred, and she's speaking saying, "I was asleep before. That's how we let it happen." So we're really being told right off the bat what's coming and why. Why? Because we were sleeping, because society has been falling for the lies, for the programming. They've been obsessed with self and just doing their own thing, obsessed with entertainment and not really wanting to wake up as to what is going on and what we're being shown. And the next scene we see again Offred saying that when they slaughtered Congress, we didn't wake up. So something again that really shows possibly the real stupidity of society, that even after them getting rid of Congress, you know, they still didn't wake up. You know, we could possibly say that society already is at a tipping point or getting to the point where they are completely programmed, they're completely mind controlled, and they just couldn't be bothered to look at what is taking place in the world as we know it. And you know, even in this picture here, you can notice the major bird imagery over here, here, and here in 3 spots, almost making a triangle, a pyramid, you know, with this guy standing in the middle. And could this be possibly the rise of the phoenix that we are being shown here, the rise of the New World Order, the beast system that is coming very, very soon? In fact, you can also see, you know, the red, black, and white New World Order color symbolism, which we will see later on as well. And as we keep going, Offred says, when they blamed terrorists and suspended the Constitution. Now, that is completely, in my opinion, about martial law that is coming. We know that the elites want to suspend the Constitution of America because right now, that is the one thing that is protecting Americans and possibly even free society from what the New World Order or the elites want to do to them, and that is the all-out control and taking the rights of every single person. And what I found quite interesting about this picture is you got 9 people here sitting on this table. So 9 is a big number to the Illuminati, to the occult. They're also dressed in black and white, which to me is signifying the duality, as above, so below. But we know that 9, we've even heard the term the Council of 9 in the New World Order. But 9 just so happens to represent in Illuminati numerology, which I believe I've shown this article before, but number 9 is the number of divine completion and the number of the fall of man. So we are being shown cryptically that the big fall is coming, that the divine work or the divine completion, the great work of the Freemasons, the great architect Lucifer himself, their great work, the beast system, is about to come into place very, very soon. The final beast kingdom is coming. And as we keep going, we'll see Offred saying that society still didn't wake up even after all of this happened. So they abolished Congress, the Constitution, we were all asleep and we didn't get it. So what does that tell you? I really believe that it says that the complete control and takeover of society has been successful, that we've got the New World Order with their martial law all over the place.
In the world of Gilead, class and gender are the ultimate arbiters of status. Misogyny is the norm. In this New World Order of Gilead, women are divided into 4 roles, all of them suppressive to varying degrees. There are the wives, privileged but barren women who are married to powerful men, the Marthas who make up the kitchen and house servants, the fertile handmaids, and the ants, government lackeys who train the handmaids through cruel and often violent means. The women who fall outside of these categories because they are too old, too poor, too rebellious, are dubbed unwomen and are sent to the colonies where their lives are short and spent laboring in nuclear waste fields. Abortion doctors, practicing Jews, and gay people are executed, their bodies put on public display to warn Gilead civilians against resistance. To some degree, all women in The Handmaid's Tale are treated very badly. The handmaids are forced into ritual sex by their masters and wives. If they get pregnant, the master and his wife keeps the baby. The children that these handmaids had before the government was overthrown were taken away to unknown locations. For some people, The Handmaid's Tale is too horrifying or too violent to watch. In The Guardian, Elizabeth Moss, who plays Offred, describes how she sees turning away from the show because of its violence to be kind of a cop-out. I hate hearing that someone couldn't watch it because it was too scary, she said. Not because I care about whether or not they watch my TV show. I don't give a shit. But I'm like, really? You don't have the balls to watch a TV show? This is happening in your real life. Wake up, people. Wake up. But does The Handmaid's Tale really predict a foreseeable future for women in the rest of the world? I'll let you decide that for yourself. But at this point in life, in 2018, it really shouldn't surprise you at all. The creator of the show, Bruce Miller, told the Huffington Post, "I always feel like the show is hopeful because our world is not Gilead," he said. "It always makes me feel like, wow, if Offred could take a stand and try to change things in her world, what am I doing sitting on the couch? I should be able to change the things in my world." But many people aren't buying the fact that this show is made to convince people to change our world, the real world, but instead to promote predictive programming of a new world order agenda by the elite.
A new world order. A new world order. A new world order. A new world order.
New world order.
Global governance and global agreements.
A new world order.
The new world order.
Novus Order Seclorum. A new order.
A new world order. About a new world order.
An interdependent world order might be built.
You believe deeply in your system, and we believe just as deeply in our system. It is not our common beliefs that have brought us together here, but our common interests and our common hopes. The interest that each of us has to maintain our independence and the security of our peoples, and the hope that each of us has to build a new world order.
The closest we came to the dream was when we were doing THX and everybody was writing their scripts. Everybody was hanging out at the pool table drinking cappuccinos and waxing philosophically about the New World Order and everything.
Leaders come together and establish a framework for global governance, not a world government, but sensible governance. These measures are enacted and we continue to move forward with the G20 process. We will have the kind of global governance that is necessary to ensure the stability and transparency of markets in a way that gives us the benefits of a globalized market economy without the enormous risks.
And there with my people, they were bombed, and I was just targeted like them, and as elected president, official in charge of their protection, I couldn't do anything about it. But the point here is, it's not about me, it's about the idea of freedom. It's about the future of the whole region. It's about the future of Europe and a new world order.
A world where the rule of law, not the law of the jungle, governs the conduct of nations. When we are successful, and we will be, we have a real chance at this new world order, an order in which a credible United Nations can use its peacekeeping role to fulfill the promise and vision of the UN's founders. A new world order.
Under his eye. Under his eye.
So far in this video, we have exposed plenty of Illuminati symbolism within The Handmaid's Tale. We exposed the New World Order agenda. We exposed how they're using this show to promote a one world government and a police state. They're promoting martial law, literally. But this show is also filled with other types of Illuminati symbolism. One of the big ones is the all-seeing eye. You see this all the time, and this is how you know you're watching Illuminati programming. One of the main characters in the show, who is a handmaid, has a messed up eye. As you can see right here in this GIF image, her eye is covered up, but if you remove the hair away from her eye is screwed up. So anytime you see this character, you're always seeing the all-seeing eye. Okay? Another thing about The Handmaid's Tale is you'll always commonly hear the phrase under his eye. You'll hear it so much all the time, almost every single episode. Under his eye. They're not talking about the eye of God, because these people don't worship God. They worship Lucifer. They don't worship the Most High. So when they say under his eye, they're speaking about the eye of Horus. They're speaking about the all-seeing eye, the eye that you see on the back of the dollar bill. You'll hear it over and over again if you watch this show. This show is very satanic, and for anybody who wants to see it, I'm giving you a warning now. It's pretty dark, it's pretty grimy, it's an Illuminati propaganda show. Just be prepared.
Under his eye. Under his eye.
Ye shall walk with him, and fear him, and cleave unto him. And you shall obey his word, and the word of his servants here on earth. Or you shall feel the pain of his judgment. For that is his love.
Watching this show as a Christian sends many red flags my way. If we were to see a new world order arise, it wouldn't be because of religious extremists. It would be because Satanists have declared their rule over humanity. This show is succeeding at making Christians look like the true enemy in the eyes of the world. In Gilead, the Bible is used as a tool to oppress women and children, along with the poor and people who are not considered religious enough. In this dystopian future, women aren't even allowed to read the Bible. This show, in my opinion, is very satanic and disturbing to watch. But what are your thoughts? Have you seen The Handmaid's Tale? And do you believe that this show is pushing a satanic New World Order agenda? Sound off in the comment section and let me know. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe, and also hit that bell so you get notified anytime I upload a new video. This is Devin with UPTV. As always, give your life to Yeshua, and I'll holla at y'all later. Peace and love.
Up? Fuck you.
Blessed are the meek, dear.
Blessed are the meek. We always left out the part about inheriting the earth.
Thank you for watching UPTV. If you like this video and would love to see more, check out these great videos here. And don't forget to subscribe to UPTV and UPTV2 for even more great videos.